This video will explain on how to solve equations when we are dealing with numbers, or how to solve an equation when we have a literal equations. So we'll start first with an easy one. And when we are solving equations, what we are doing is we are performing the uh, opposite of order of operation BEDMAS. And BEDMAS stands for brackets, exponents, dividing and multiplying, adding and subtracting. Adding and subtracting stay at the same level as the to each other, so you can perform adding or subtracting first. uh, it doesn't really matter, or multiplying and dividing is the same, so depend which one is the most easier for you to see and complete. So we'll start first solving equation. And what we are doing, as I said, when we are solving equations, we are performing the opposite operation of BEDMAS. So if when we are evaluating, we are starting with uh, brackets, exponents, dividing, multiplying, and adding and subtracting. When we are solving, we are starting with adding and subtracting, canceling them, multiplying and dividing, canceling them, exponents, canceling them, and then dealing with brackets. When we are canceling, then we are performing the opposite operation. So when we are canceling the addition, we are performing subtracting in both sides. When we are canceling, subtracting, then we are performing adding in both sides. When we are canceling the multiplying, then we are performing dividing in both sides. When we are performing or canceling dividing, then we are multiplying in both sides. Exponents is the root with the same index. So let's suppose that we have x to the power of 2 is equal to 64. Then the canceling of this exponent will be squaring with this index of 2, and then x will be equals to 8 plus minus 8. Or if we have something like x to the power of 3 is equal to 27, then what you will do is you will perform root with index 3 to cancel this operation here, and then x will be equals to 3. And then you deal with brackets inside brackets. Or if we have something like x minus 3 is equal to 8, then the to cancel the negative 3, you will add 3 in both sides. So x will be equals to 11, because the opposite operation of subtracting is adding. Or if we have, let's suppose 2x is equal to negative 24, then what do is you, since between 2 and x is a multiplying, then to cancel the multiplication, you divide both sides, so you cancel the 2, and then x is equal to negative 12. So this is what we will keep in mind when we are solving. Another thing that is important when we are solving, and this is more, you will see this more in math than in science. However, since we are dealing with something like this, then I would like to approach this topic is when we have brackets and then we have x's in or variable in both sides. Beneficial is to uh, distribute it. So let's suppose that we have something like this: 2 open brackets 4x minus 3 minus 8 is equal to 4 plus 2x. So when you see this, you have the x here under the brackets and the x on the other side. So a beneficial approach on this will be to distribute so that you combine the x's between each other. So when you're distributing, you're multiplying whatever is the coefficient in front with every term inside the brackets. So this will be the same as saying 8x minus 6 minus 8 is equal to 4 plus 2x. And now combining those two terms, 8x minus 14 is equal to 4 plus 2x. Now that we have this as the expression, it's a matter of combining the x's by canceling or by performing the opposite operation, and x's in one side and the numbers on the other side. So what you should do in this case, you should add 14 in both sides. Then you will have 8x, since 14 is cancelled, is equal to 18 plus 2x. And then you subtract 2x in both sides to cancel the positive 2x, and then you will have 6x is equal to 18. And now to find x, you divide both sides by 6, so x will be equals to 3. Okay, so this is a kind of a difficult one, but an easy one that you will probably see in science is something like negative 8 is equal to negative x plus 4. So even though that we don't see it, we don't write it, this is a negative 1. So divide both sides by negative 1 to cancel the multiplying that is in between. So this will be positive 8 is equal to x plus 4. And then to cancel the positive 4, you subtract 4 in both sides, then x is equal to 4. Another thing that we see in science is that is known as the literal equations. What do we do when we are solving for using literal equations? Is we are following the same logic as we do when we have numbers. So let's suppose that we have z is equal to b plus m over a, and what we are doing here is we are solving for a, and this is exactly the same, and we'll solve it side by side so that you can see this is exactly the same as saying that 18 is equal to 3 plus 5 over x. And what we are doing is we are solving for x here. So we'll solve it side by side so that you can see. First, we start by canceling the b, so take away b in both sides. And then on the left side, we will have z minus b is equal to m over a, because what do we do when we are solving literal equations? The variable that we are solving for, that is a in our case, it's considered to be an x, and the rest of the variables, even though that we don't know what is the value of those variables, we consider them as numbers. And this is why side by side z is same as saying a number 18 3 b is same as saying 3 and m is same as saying 5. And what we do in this case is we take away 3 in both sides, so 18 minus 3 will be equals to 15 equals to 5 over x. And then we continue by solving, multiplying by a both sides here, since will be easier for us to get rid of the uh, variable that is in the denominator. So we'll have a z minus b is equal to m, and the same thing is here, multiply by x both sides, so that we kind of get rid of the variable that is in the denominator. So we'll have 15x is equal to 5. And then what we do here as the last step to solve for a, we divide both sides by z minus b. Z minus b. So those terms are cancelled out, and a will be equals to m over z minus b. And what we will see in a literal equation is an expression, and what we will see in the an equation with numbers will be a number, which in our case is a fraction. So this is how we solve literal equations. Just the benefits of having a literal equations versus a number equations is that we can substitute any value of m, in this case z or b, and evaluate the value of a. And here on the other case is we just have number for that value. Okay.